Hi, and welcome to another day of 10 Ideas. I'm Florian, and my blog is lifesciencementor.com. And today we are talking about 10 ways, or to be precise, 11 ways to motivate ourselves for coming up with 10 ideas. And that is actually true for anything that we want to do. Motivational help is not different for 10 ideas than for doing chores in the house or you know, going to work or whatever you want. Whatever you want to achieve. Sometimes we're just feeling a little bit down or don't really want to do that. And yeah, why should we? But of course we want to, because if you want to install something as a habit, it's important to do it every day. And really, there are several ways to motivate ourselves. And I've just put 11 together. So let's see what we have. The first point is just focus on the first step, right? So writing down one idea instead of 10 seems doable, right? Same way, if you wanna clean up the kitchen, then you just start with the dishes, not more, right? And once you have the dishes, then the rest doesn't seem so difficult anymore. So focus on the first step. For the idea practice, it would be coming up with the first idea while you are going to the bathroom to brush your teeth, for example, right? Just get the ball rolling. Number 2, warm up with free writing. So for the 10 ideas, what I often do in the morning is actually I free write whatever's in my mind. And then the 10 ideas are just an extension of that writing that I'm already doing. So I don't need to get in front of the computer or take out a piece of paper and write it down. I'm already writing it, and just add 10 ideas to the mix of what I'm already writing. Number 3, allow yourself to have fun as a reward. If you don't feel like writing on your 10 ideas because you want to watch TV, or call your friends or whatever you want to do instead, do the 10 ideas first and see that watching TV or spending time with your friends or whatever you do, or eating a snack, whatever it is, do that as a reward for the 10 ideas you write down. Number 4, take it easy, right? So sometimes we're just overwhelmed and don't feel up to the task. And in that case, it helps reminding ourselves that our ideas don't need to be earth-shattering. So sometimes it takes me sometimes very, very long to write down an idea, because I also choose to put my ideas out there and publish them on my blog. Now, sometimes that leads to me becoming hypercritical, right? So I think, oh, well, yeah, that would be an idea, but is that idea really good enough to be published? And then I start overthinking it too much instead of doing it spontaneous, which is the way it should be. So then I went back and said, look, I don't force myself to publish 10 ideas for a particular topic if I don't like these ideas, or if I don't think they are good if I don't want to have many people reading my ideas. So then I'm just saying, okay, I'm just going to write these ideas down for myself. So I just choose to do it easier step. Still do it, but take it easier. Now, if you write down 10 ideas per day, then the minority of you will also want to publish them and have other people see them. But similar thoughts hold true. If you think maybe your problems to write down something, or if you want your writer's block, is because you think there's too much at stake. So there was an interview by Neil Strauss on James Altucher's podcast. Maybe it was Tim Ferriss, one of the two. And he was basically saying, the first draft that you write is only for your eyes, nobody else. And then the second is you edit it, and then basically pick what can be shown to other people, what you want to publish and what not. And with the 10 ideas, it's the same. Do it for yourself, and put the threshold for being okay with what you write way down. Just don't be too selective. Don't be judgmental. Don't be too selective. Just write it. Think about very small steps. And that is true for anything you do in life. If something seems too overwhelming, still do it, but just don't do as much. If you think about there's a social meeting, right, and you kind of dread social gatherings, and should I really go there or not? Well, you don't need to do big earth-shattering things there, right? Just go there, meet some people, say hello, and just maybe after half an hour you can always say goodbye and leave because you don't feel well, but you've shown up, right? Same principle always applies. Figure out why you don't want to do something, and if it's too overwhelming, if that's the reason if the reason that you don't want to do something is because you think you will never be able to live up to a certain standard, then lower the standard. It's about doing it, not about doing it perfect. Number 5, find your most productive time. So some people are most creative in the morning, some people most creative in the evening. I think overwhelmingly the majority of people is not creative in early afternoon, but you might be. So figure that out for yourself. I used to think that I'm really creative late at night, and that's not really true because I started to do more of my creative things in the morning, and that works much better. So late at night, I only thought I was creative because there was more pressure. Late at night meant the deadline was the next morning. I really had to do something, and of course, then all of a sudden it works, right? But figure out really which time of the day you're most productive, and then do your ideas then, right? Number 6, make sure you understand the reason for your unwillingness to write. And that extends a little bit what I said before, but I try to elaborate that a little bit more here. So it could be that there is something else that is still on your mind, and that has to get out of your mind. For example, maybe you had a fight with your significant other the day before, and you think you have it solved, but it still somehow lingers in your mind, and you can't just move on before solving that, right? Take care of that first, and then write it. Or even if you can't take care of it immediately, write down, define a time when you will do it, so that it's off your mind, and then you write it, and then you write your 10 ideas. Right? If there's conflict that you need to solve, sometimes the other person with whom you want to solve the conflict isn't there, and then you just write down a time when the person is done so that you can forget about that for the time being. Number 6, look at your mood in days when writing down 10 ideas was a breeze, and then copy that mood. So what I mean by that is instead of focusing on the reasons that something doesn't work, focus on the mood when it did work. And how you do that is described by Mike Cernovich in his blog Danger and Play. And you can look it up there. I provided the link in the accompanying blog article to this video. What I do, very simplified, is I'm stepping, if I can't come up with 10 ideas, I step away from my computer and I go to a separate room, or I simply close my eyes. And then I think about a time when it was really a breeze to write the 10 ideas. And then I think about what I did before that time, during that time, and after that time, as detailed as possible. Where was I? What was I feeling? What was I doing before? What was I doing afterwards? I try to visualize that event as much as possible in my mind, also how I felt. And then I try to recreate that state back in the now. So for example, if you realize that you were happy last time when you wrote the 10 ideas and it was 5 a.m. in the morning, it could be that you were just happy that 5 a.m. was in the beginning of the day and you thought you had the whole day to do enormous amount of different stuff and so you could easily write down your 10 ideas. So maybe you need to feel there's enough time to come up with 10 ideas. So what you do then is either you get up at 5 a.m. the next day, and to write 10 ideas down then, or to solve it immediately, you postpone some of the activities you wanted to do today to the next day, so that in the end you don't feel so overwhelmed today, and you can write down your ideas because you think now again you have enough time. Or maybe while you were writing down the ideas back when it was a breeze, maybe it was the topic that you really love to write about. Well, then maybe you can find an aspect of today's 10 ideas that are also somewhat about that topic, and so you can write that down. So you can make your 10 ideas a little bit of that about that topic as well. For example, if you really love to write 10 ideas about how to improve your fitness routine, and now you're stuck with having to think about ideas about aromatherapy, you could think about ways in which aromatherapy will help your fitness, right? So maybe try to combine that so that you feel happy again writing about it. And another example, maybe you're really happy about having achieved something. So if that is your motivation, being happy about having something achieved, then allow yourself a reward after your writing to motivate you, right? So think back on when things went well and try to recreate that situation in as good as you can for the now. Idea number 8, outside motivational help. So some people maybe you become motivated when listening to music, or when you listen to somebody talk on a podcast or on the radio or maybe even TV, or you become motivated when you talk to friends and afterwards you're full of ideas and you really want to write them down. Well, then that's what you do. You talk to friends before you write them down, right? Figure out what motivates you. If the motivation is not completely coming from inside, and then do that. No need of watching long motivational videos, 15 minutes. They don't really get anything done, really. What gets something done is figuring out what the conditions are under which you write the best, and then recreate those conditions. Number 9 is treat 10 ideas like a habit, a necessary part of the day. So you never get to thinking about writing them, but you automatically do it. And in The Power of Habit, Charles Duhigg talks about 4 different triggers that induce a specific habit, right? And a trigger could be something you walk. For example, I'm having my keys always on this plate, and what happens is I never look for my keys ever again, because they're almost always there, and if they're not there, in my pocket. So when I walk in the house, opening the door, I put the key into the key tray, and now as soon as I open the door, that triggers me putting the keys into that key box or key plate. So you wanna come up with some triggers that automatically induce the writing down of 10 ideas. So these triggers could be one of 4, as Charles Duhigg said. One could be space. That as soon as you walk into a specific room, you do a certain routine. So find an environment that is most conducive to writing your 10 ideas, and then dedicate that room to your 10 ideas. So that being in that room triggers writing down these ideas. That could also be an outside walk. That could also be kind of a room, right? You're outside. Maybe that's when you get triggered to write down these ideas. Maybe that's when you write them best. So condition yourself to only come up with ideas when you're outside. The second trigger is time. So some activities we automatically do at a specific time. So if that is how you best instill habits, then you want to come up with writing down these 10 ideas at exactly the same time, like 9 a.m. or something like that. I always write down my ideas after I free write for half an hour. Comes down to 6:30 a.m. I write them down. Social contacts could also be something. So some people do certain things when they are in the company of other people. Some people start smoking when they're with other people, but never alone, right? So maybe you want to come up with you want to hang out with people, and that inspires you to write down those 10 ideas while you hang out with people. Have your note block with you, write it down when you're with people, and then that's that. And the fourth trigger is what you did before, and that's sort of what I already talked about. I'm already free writing before I come up with those 10 ideas. So the writing is a trigger for doing more writing for me. And that is one of the triggers that works best for me. I'm very independent with whatever I do, from space, time, or social contacts. But whatever I did before, I tend to continue to doing that. So that's a trigger for me. Find out what the best trigger is for you so that you can install those 10 ideas as a habit. Number 10, change the way you create your ideas. Handwriting, computer, audio. And the same way that that was in a teaser video, you saw this hand grenade. So basically, I have my protein shake every morning, and this is a protein shaker. And it became a bit boring, the old protein shaker cup. So I ordered this new one, which is more fun. And now I'm back to really enjoying making my protein shakes. That's what I mean with spice things up. Change the way you create your ideas as well. So maybe you always type them, but maybe that's not the way you want to do it. Maybe try handwriting them, or speak them onto your audio recorder. That's another way to record your 10 ideas, right? Change up the way you do things, because maybe that's the way you work better. And number 11 is think about publishing your ideas, right? So if you have many ideas, why don't you just put them into a book and sell it? You can also show people how you come up with different ideas, and they get inspired by different ideas that you give them. So maybe they read through these ideas and they realize, oh man, that's pretty interesting, and so they can use it. So you can call the book like 200 Ideas in Health, Wealth, and Relationships, and there you go. I'm sure you can sell a few copies. All right. That's it for today. I wish you a great end of the day, of the week as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow. If you enjoyed this video, click on like. If you even more, subscribe and leave me a comment. If you have anything to say, I'll answer every comment, and I'm happy about every comment. And it allows me to think about how I can serve you more. If you let me know what you like, I can write about that. Okay? So see you again tomorrow, and thank you very much for watching. All the best.